What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to episode 28 of Domiciled, the podcast that explores the subculture of truck drivers as well as those wily logistics professionals bringing their stories to the masses. I'm your host, Scott Cleary, and before we kick things off, we're going to send it over to our friends at Purple Squirrel first. You know that Purple Squirrel represents freight agents, freight brokerages, and freight forwarding companies. If you'd like to earn more, reduce your liability, and grow your career, you should have a chat with Ryan Smith over at Purple Squirrel about becoming an independent agent. They represent multiple brokers and forwarding companies, allowing them to provide you with several career offers. You have options. Let them advocate on your behalf. Check them out below. Learn it more at www.purplesquirrel.llc. Paul, what's going on, buddy? What's new? We haven't chatted in a moment.
I know.
Not on the pod anyway.
I'm on the road.
I'm starting to think you don't like me anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It's not the travel. No, on the road, rocking it over at Conduit, having a blast, growing.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Taking off this Saturday and then coming back. And then I think I leave sometime the following week. I'm out as well. But, stacking up.
Are all the girls in Chicago just crying? They must be. They must be. They just like the water table raises a quarter of an inch every time you take off.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, there's not a 5'7" Armenian guy here. I can tell there's something different.
With a great personality and one heck of a wit, Paul. If I may say so.
Scott, you're just such a beauty, bud. I appreciate you.
I'm just trying to keep up with you.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Speaking of keeping up with me, didn't you just run like an Ironman or some
No
mutter? What did you just...
I did a 5K Spartan race in Raymond James Stadium. So let's reel that one in a bit.
3 miles?
Yeah, it's like 3.2. They had me doing stairs, bud. We were lots of stairs, like up in the nosebleeds. I actually learned during that race that the nosebleeds in Ray J aren't that bad. Note to self. For a concert, I don't know, but for a football game, they're not just little ants running around. You can see some stuff. But yeah, they had us doing some crazy stuff. There's 2 obstacles I think I should have completed that I didn't, which was a spear throw. I just hit a little high and to the right, rifled it, just not where it needed to go. And then there was just an obstacle where you were, instead of like monkey bars, it was all easy, big fella. Instead of monkey bars, it was all like Olympic rings. And I'm not like, I guess, athletic or acrobatic enough to do one ring and swing at a time. I just have to like muscle it and do one at a time. And I tried getting too cute and I fell like a third of the way because I just wasn't doing it the right way. But yeah, own my burpees like a man or woman. Lots of ladies running these races too, kicking some serious tail. But no, it was a good time, man. It's really, really difficult, but it's always good to push yourself sometimes. We knocked it out, taking our time in about an hour 14. I think I could have done it around an hour if I was cruising.
Okay.
That was that. Yeah. Yeah, that was that. And where was your latest show? You were in, I kept thinking you were in Tennessee.
I was in Nashville.
Okay, so I thought you were in North Carolina, but you're in Tennessee. That's what it was. I don't even remember what I
forgot.
forgot.
You don't even know where I am. I don't even know where I am.
We used to share locations. That stopped.
Oh, I gotta fix that.
Yeah.
I gotta, what if Scotty's not watching over me? Who is? So that you wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh wait, okay, good, he's home. He's in bed.
Yeah. Like if you don't move from a location in more than 48 hours, I'm like, oh, you must be dead.
That's why you call me on Sundays. Got it.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Nashville was good. Heading to actually hearing some interesting stuff in the industry. It was really cool. This was a home delivery world. They focus a lot on like final mile, more than middle mile, and really interesting stuff coming out of that. The only thing I walked away with is that it seems like something I already knew, which was American consumers seem to demand the fastest shipping possible. Like something that used to be an option is now an obligation. And I thought that was really interesting. I never spent a lot of time in that space. How much time do you spend in box truck land, or sprinter van world? Like you don't, right? And so yeah, that was extremely interesting. And just the number of players that have popped up in that space, especially in the 3PL space, that are doing a lot of kitting, pick and pack, like really unique stuff that's, I've got all the things I need to make this thing, and I put it together and I put it in a box and I send it out and it gets there in 2 days. Like, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But next week will be more supply chain shipper focused. I'll be down in your neck of the woods, actually. And then after that, I'm heading to New Orleans.
Very nice. Still haven't been there, except the fly out of. I drove there.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually just found out. Wait, when does this episode come
out? Probably a month and a half from now.
Okay, I won't say where I'm going then. I got a bachelor party coming up. It's still a secret for someone. Yeah, I'll tell you off air. But super fun. New Orleans is really cool. Last time I went there, I was in college. I went to a conference, a criminology conference. It was really cool to be in your very early 20s and bob around somewhere like that where you could just walk around with a soda.
Just figuring out how to get away with murder.
Nope, wasn't that.
No.
I don't run that fast, but no, I'd say no, just a really, really cool town. Excited for that. Glenn, if you're listening, I will settle my debt on bourbons. But yeah, I mean, just rocking and rolling, living in the world of dock scheduling and yard management, man.
Good. Happy to hear it, man. Happy to hear it. So I think from there, I think we bring our guy in. We talked too long. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we're not too long, but I think it is definitely time. So anyways, I'll hide this, get it ready. So our next guest is actually a Revenova customer I brought on a little over a year ago, but that is not why he's joining. He's joining because he's a small business owner. I'm a sucker for small business, Paul, and manages a fleet of drivers. We love drivers. And he's got a passion. I've seen this on his LinkedIn posts lately, and I appreciate it. He's got a passion for human connection and keeping a pulse on what's going on with his employees at his company. I've seen him do this, out talking to his people, his drivers, etc. We'll let him talk more about that, though. So the company, Bound Logistics, the domicile, Union, New Jersey. It's about 1 mile or less from the Newark port for all you potential customers out there. Give them a call, Bound Logistics. The services, domestic brokerage, ocean container logistics, and intermodal drayage. The mensch, the myth, the legend, Nathan Halberstam. What's going on, buddy? How we doing?
How you guys doing? I'm doing great. How about yourself?
All smiles, buddy. Appreciate you coming on. Did you see the little pun I made? Did you notice it? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I loved it. It was awesome. Good to be here with you guys tonight.
Oh, pleasure's all ours, man. We appreciate you coming on. So, one thing I noticed real quick before we get going, because I did send out the questionnaire a bit late, so that's on me. So we didn't get as much maybe granular detail about Nathan. I might not know yet. You've been in the transportation industry for 8 years, started off as a dispatcher, but you're the CEO of a company right now that's is doing well. Tell us about that. That's a short amount of time to be in the industry and get where you guys are.
So I actually got into this industry I wouldn't say by mistake. It was just just so happened. I was out of school looking for a job right after I got married. Okay. And was just, checking all the platforms and looking around, anything available. The funny thing is that I took a real estate brokerage course, and I'm a licensed broker. So I was gonna go do and be a real estate agent. I got married, had to pay rent, had life has to move on. And
she charged you rent?
She charged me rent, time and a half, and just being around and waiting for a deal to happen just didn't look something that I would be able to sustain. Right. So I kept moving on looking for a job, and then a friend actually approached me saying that he has an uncle that has a trucking company, and he didn't have much information. He says he knows he's looking for someone to come in and kind of do operations. Okay. So I inquired about it, called him up, and said, hey, I'm looking for a job, and I was told you guys are looking for someone. So that was a small drayage company. They had 5 drivers at a time. So this person I was gonna go work for, he was one of the managers or something in a freight forwarding company. And, working at freight forwarding, he decided to open a drayage company to service his customers. So they had one person there doing the operations, the dispatch, order entry, whatever. But that person was going to leave, so they were looking for someone else to come in. They understood it was two partners, 2 people working in a freight forwarding company that also had a side business of a drayage company. They offered a good salary, and this is back in end of 2016. And they knew that it's going to be a one person doing everything, so the salary was really good. It was like $1,500 a week, which almost 10 years ago was definitely a lot more than what it is today. It required a lot of work, but the person working there kind of gave me 2 weeks to tell me what it's all about, and off you go on your own. So I got 2 weeks to literally understand. I never did trucking. I was never into trucking at all, let alone drayage, ports, containers, LFD, the merge. This was like
it's a lot to learn.
It was a lot. I needed like a whole dictionary just to learn all these words and understanding what it all is. But I had no choice, jumped right into it. And the funny thing is, I got to love it. The adrenaline is high all day. There's always things happening, and that was only with like 4 or 5 trucks. Then the company grew to 7 trucks by the time I left, and then these owners decided that they're going to shut down the company because their focus wasn't on the drayage, and they weren't necessarily interested in being involved. They thought as a passive income it'll be easier and less for them to be focused. I don't know why. I think they thought because they're doing freight forwarding, it'll just, be like booking a vessel, but it's a total different game.
It's even harder than like active domestic, in my opinion.
It's a nightmare. And they didn't want to get involved in day to day.
Clip it. Yeah. Clip it. Nathan says his job's a nightmare. Send it out in a memo. Anyway, go ahead. They didn't want to deal with the day to day.
They did not want to deal with the day to day. Investing more money. I'm not exactly sure. They decided to cut it off, and that's it. And that is when I left. I actually went into a totally different industry. Then I needed a job. I went to do credit card processing for like 5 months. It was totally different a world. But I missed the trucking world. I was there for 7 months, but I enjoyed every minute. I mean, the adrenaline, the changes, the challenges. It's literally every day something else. And sometimes you're fighting against, the waves that you can't overcome. I mean, if there's no appointment, there's no appointment. And if the lines are miles, they are miles. It's like it's not anything in your hands that you could do. However, you got to make it work. You have to figure it out because there's money on the line. I mean, any wrong move costs in the end thousands of dollars. So that's when I was like, I got to get back into it because being in credit card processing and looking at statements and dealing with banks was just too boring. So that's when I called a couple of customers that I dealt with at that first company. And I was like, hey, I don't know who you guys are with now, whoever's doing your drayage, but, I'm thinking of getting back into it. If I do, would you give me a chance? And they all said, look, if you plan on doing it, give me a buzz when you're ready. I mean, I don't want to promise anything. If someone is importing even 150 containers a year and some, schmojo calls them up, say, hey, I want to open a drayage company, they're not going to say yes. They're going to wait to see something there to say, okay. So I took the leap of faith and, jumped right in. We filed, all the applicable applications with FMCSA and UIIA and, everything that needs to be done. And, here we are almost 7 years later. Yes.
That's pretty wild. So you just went from 7 months in operations to a quick hiatus to starting your own business in drayage and international shipping.
That is pretty much it. That sums it up. Yeah. With a 6 month break in between to think.
Right. Oh, okay. 6 months. Yeah. Well, that's good. You got to think of it. So, I mean, Paul, I don't want to hog it if you're about to go.
Oh no, I just I'm over here creeping on Nathan's LinkedIn here.
Yeah, checking on some of the stuff.
Checking some of the stuff. Yeah, I mean, what I think really stands out to me as interesting is clearly you have an entrepreneurial spirit because you worked somewhere for less than a year, tried something else, and then your response wasn't, I'm going to go get another job. Your response was, I'm going to do this myself, which I think is really cool because 6 years later, you're doing it. And I think what's probably different from you than, say, the tech space, right, where I live and where Scott lives now, is that isn't something you go and get investment capital for necessarily. You don't go to a venture fund, right, and start a trucking company, right, the same way that you would a tech company. And the reason I say all that is that I imagine it's pretty hard to go from I'm going to do this myself to grow it, right? And I'm curious, what was that like starting that? How scary was that?
What the wife think?
And what was the first moment where you were like, "Oh, I'm doing this. Like this is happening." Like, tell me a little bit about that because I'm really
So the wife actually is not always on board even today. There's sometimes when she says, "Give this up. This is too much." But no, it was a leap of faith, obviously. On her end, shout out to my wife. She had to put up a lot, starting a business and not being available at all time and, being occupied. For the first, I would say 16 months, I was a one-man band. But Paul, to your question, I actually started off with a partner, which was kind of like, say, the money investor in the business. So I met this guy, which he still has like a little LTL company. He was familiar in trucking somehow, somewhere, nothing with Drayage. He had never experienced or worked with Drayage, but someone put me in touch with him. As I wanted to start my own company, I started approaching people because I had, maybe $1,000 in the bank, right? Not really anything. So my initial thought was going to people that are importers and ask them, hey, you guys import 1,000 containers a year. How about, we start a Drayage company together. Obviously, we'll do exclusively your account and then grow out from there. That was my chain of thought, right? I'm not going to go to another trucking company because why should they invest in another one, right? So I approached a couple of people, I would say 6 or 7 companies that import a decent amount, over 500 or 600 containers a year. And I was like, how about you guys put in $100,000? We'll do a partnership, 50-50, whatever. We'll service you. So we have the business to start off with, right? Mm-hmm. We could sustain 500 containers with, say, 6 trucks. And from there, we'll start selling. Anyway, none of them bought it. It didn't go. So then word of mouth started going around, in the community where I live that, this guy is looking for someone. And, my brother-in-law told another guy and then a friend told another guy. Then someone introduced me to this guy that has a trucking company, said, maybe try him. So we spoke and he liked the idea. So he put in the money and I was going to do the work. We're not partners anymore. I actually bought him out about a year ago, something like that. Money partners and working partners don't always, work out as you think it would. It's been a challenging time. I wouldn't say not. I think Scott was a little bit involved throughout.
You gave me the cliff notes, and I didn't push.
So that's pretty much how it got started. So I actually did not have the funding. I needed funding. Starting a trucking company, the insurance cost up front is high. Purchasing a truck is high. So that's where he came in. And at this point, I'm a sole owner. I bought him out, gave him a buyout, and we're running solo now.
I mean, that's awesome because then you're not working with or for anyone. Paul, go ahead though, dude.
Yeah, I was going to say that really talks to the power of community, right? I think some folks, whether it's family or community or your neighborhood, right, depending on where you grew up, having that connection obviously is super helpful. But it also sounds like you had a little bit of help, but I imagine getting it off the ground is more than just having a little help. Tell me about those first 150 days.
It was.
And did you start with assets? Did you
We started with assets. We did.
Started with assets, and he said it was a nightmare. So Nathan, tell us how much the nightmare was. Tell us
been
your
a
freight
ride.
fares.
So first of all, until we were able to get going, the FMCSA, obviously is not great in communication. They tell you what you need to do, and there's no one to talk to. You think you submitted it well, and you're sitting and waiting for that. You check the Safer website to say active, whatever it says. Authorized, I think, is the wording they use.
Yeah. Approved,
and as long as something. And it was saying, not authorized for months. And I tried getting in touch with someone, and everyone pushed me around someplace else. And I remember that day, I told this guy, then my partner, like, I'm going on vacation. Look, I don't know when we're gonna get started, but I haven't gone on vacation. I need 2-3 days to get away, and hopefully this is gonna happen. Literally, as I went to Cancun, Mexico with my wife, literally as I landed, I used to check Safer like 80 times a day, just refresh that page, see what's going on.
Yeah.
Literally as I landed, it said authorized. I was there. I was there for 1 day, booked a flight back. I was like, cancel this vacation. We're heading back to New York. We're authorized. We're getting this started. I'm not waiting another 3 days.
You wouldn't even give it the 3 days.
I was like, I don't care. This is authorized right now. I changed my vacation itinerary. I just canceled the hotels and everything. And the next day, I got there like at 3 p.m. I was there till the next morning. Had a JetBlue flight at like 10 a.m. And
she stayed there. She came back with
you. She did. Yeah,
I think this is where some of the comments are coming from earlier.
Yeah.
I think this is
it's part of it. This is only one of them.
Oh,
at the beginning, he just got his FMCSA, dude. This is just started.
Yeah, this is just the FMCSA.
So cancel vacation with the wife. Got it.
Cancel vacation with the wife. Yes. Then obviously I was the only person, right? I was doing order entry. I was doing dispatch. I was doing appointments. I was doing the sales. I was doing the billing, whatnot, right? Hiring drivers.
Yeah.
So I was doing everything. And at that time, I was working with a TMS called Profit Tools. I don't know if you're aware of that. So Profit Tools that was before Port Pro came around.
Oh, and, okay.
Profit Tools is this like legendary, old system. It looks like Windows 99. Terrible, hurts the eyes. But that was probably the system at the time.
Gotcha.
The problem with that was that it was a hosted system. It wasn't a web-based system.
Oh, you had to have it on-prem.
It was a server-based.
Yeah.
So that means that if I wasn't near my computer, I was not able to work, right? So what I did was I worked, by connecting a laptop, which is very common these days in general, but I didn't have like a PC or whatever. I worked with my laptop, and wherever I went, I took my laptop with me just in case I need to log in because it was hosted on the laptop directly.
Right.
Now imagine that whenever the wife says, I want to go out for the day, or we're going away for the weekend and we're leaving Thursday or Friday morning, drivers are running all day and they're calling, hey, I'm at the port. I need an appointment, or I need you to assign another load. There goes the shoulder. Pull out the laptop. Let's assign another load. We drive another 20 minutes. John calls, he needs another load. We pull up to the shoulder, and we do another thing. I mean, a trip that would take like an hour and 30 minutes drive would probably take 5 hours. Just because,
gosh.
We would pull over, the driver's appointment is no good, that is an issue, this is an issue. And we would just sit aside and whatever. It's funny that actually last night I sent my wife a selfie that I found on my phone from that job I had at the credit card processing.
Yeah,
I think it's the only picture I took in that place, and it was like a selfie. You see the company name in the background.
Yeah.
And my wife says, "You send me this. I just found a picture of us sitting on the highway, you dispatching on the laptop." So she says, "I'm going to send that to you next." But that was part of it. It's been a nightmare. You live and learn, and you take the challenges that come along. But like I said, my wife put up a lot, and really a lot of it is she still does. She drives a lot of ideas and a lot of. The things we do, she kind of gives me those insights, and women have good ideas sometimes, some creativity. So
they definitely, they think in a different way. And I
they do.
I lean on my girlfriend a lot as well. Maybe so she's in sales too. So like when I'm having troubles with this or that, Paul and I chat a bunch, but to the lady perspective, Like, again, I think it's like I've heard that men think in like straight lines, like A to B, right? She's definitely better than me at sales, Paul. I don't know if that popped up on the screen for anybody, but she is. She works probably way
Does
harder.
she sell?
I mean, I wouldn't know. No, she sells. So now she's a manager, right? So I've heard, again, men think in straight lines. I heard women like have like spider web, and they think of different things. And there's different ways to get to, like, there isn't just this one answer. It can be, like you said, more creative, possibly approach depending on the topic. And until recently, she sold because she got a managerial position at her company now. But she, like, at the company she was at, she was an account manager there for years and years. And she was not only responsible for, like, I want to say dozens, maybe close to 100 accounts that were current customers, and she was responsible for maintaining and upselling them. So she had 2 different quotas as well as retain the customer. And she's like a very large private company, about 3,000 people. I think it's like a $3 to $4 billion company, so very big. But like, I worked at a company that size, and it was not, that environment was not for me. So yeah, she can sell, and probably can she sell better than me? Probably, yeah. And I think she's just more of like a natural hustler. She's a Puerto Rican from Philly, so anybody who's listened knows that already. And I don't mess with her. I don't think many people do.
You can't tell, but this is a picture of you, Scott, digging a hole.
What do you mean? What hole?
I was waiting for you, because you do this thing when you talk about certain things. Here's the hole, and you'll like take a little bit of sand out, and then put a little bit back in, and then a little bit out, back in. But
most people can't put any back in.
Well,
yeah, that takes time.
I don't think.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. See, Nathan has a little bit of respect for me. Paul's over here just trying to tell me I'm in the hole. I'm talking about how great my girlfriend is at sales. Where's the hole, Paul? Where's the hole? Nathan, tell him to kick rocks. But it was a good drawing, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I
looked like me.
Tell you, if I wasn't in sales, I'd be an artist.
Stay in sales.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you, Nathan, for that. But no, I think, like, every time I talk to someone that's entrepreneurial, like my uncle started a janitorial business back in the 70s, to the day he retired, right? He sold it, still worked at it for a while. And guy had like 3 retirements, just to show you the right. And it's the point I'm getting at is, you do all that in the beginning. It's very hard to not do all that later, right? Like, you go from answering the laptop, spinning up the laptop on a drive, to where you are now. What's that been like, delegating?
It's been tough.
Yeah?
It's been tough.
Tell me about it.
How's Mark doing?
Mark's doing awesome.
Mark's doing awesome? Good. Love it.
Awesome. Mark actually transitioned in the company from the brokerage side to the asset side.
He decided to start selling something he already had in his hand, as opposed to selling in the future.
Yeah, I guess we just saw him, liking the fact of, I don't know, we just, himself and in the organization, we saw he'll have a knack for it, talking with the drivers. Paul, you don't know Mark, but Scott knows him a little bit better. He's got a lot of ADHD, and he needs to be busy with things. And in the brokerage, sometimes things could calm down throughout the day. Things are covered, things are going, and our business is not hugely on the brokerage yet, compared to our asset side. And we just saw him popping out of his office and getting involved with the asset, unasked. He would just, provide his 2 cents, and then we're like, all right, might as well stay there, and we'll put someone else in the brokerage. And he's been doing great. He's been about a month now, and
nice.
Yeah, he's helping out on the asset side. So delegation is obviously tough, especially coming from the fact when you do everything, right? And it's 2 things. It's doing everything, and it's your own, right? It's like giving your kids over to a babysitter, right? You're like, can I trust these people to take care the way I would? Do they know the business, the customers, the drivers, the way I do? And the fact is, especially in the beginning, until you gain the trust with people, no one cares as much as you do, because it's your own.
They can't.
They can't, and it's hard to find the people that would. Mm-hmm. And when you bring on someone and they don't feel for the customer, they didn't bring the customer, right? Let's say let's just grab a common name, right. Home Depot, right? You build a relationship with Home Depot. You know the people, you met them, you shook their hands, you went out for dinner. Now this person's got to take care of them. They don't really know. They know Bob is, the logistics manager. And, he gets paid and she gets paid. And we got to help each other out. But, until you build that culture of really caring for the customers and partners, that takes a lot of time and effort. And that has to come from within. They have to see you feeling for the customer or drivers. And that's really when, hopefully the people in your organization could, see that and do it themselves. And
so it's like a lead by example.
It's a lead by example, yes. But before that delegation part is very hard because you're always afraid that they might mess it up, right? What are they? It's always easier to clean up a mess that you make rather than someone else does.
Oh
yeah, that's really the hard part, of delegation. But you have to. There's no other way. It was really hard in the beginning. I wasn't great at delegating. I would mix into everything and oversee everything and just double check and triple check. And then I was like, I need to. There's no way I could have a life. There's no way I could be insane and normal if I'm busy, looking after everyone, overseeing and triple checking. So I was like, as hard as it is, I'm going to have to let go. And, I think it was a good decision.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely sounds like you're doing really well. I guess my last question I got that I really, really want to know is drayage to me is witchcraft. I have never been able to understand it, right? It's just the relationships, it really is so relationship driven. And I guess the question I wanted to ask, I did peek at your website, is what makes Bound different than all the other to you, right? Like how would you describe Bound being different than any other run of the mill drayage provider in your area? Because you're backed up in New Jersey, right? Like there's quite a bit of port activity in your backyard. How do you differentiate yourself in that market?
So while there are many good players out there, and a lot of them is hard to compete, and I don't like going around and saying that we're different than everyone because we came up with something. We do what everyone does, just better, right? We try to build that culture of having a very direct relationship with customers. Having a very direct relationship with our drivers and within, right? The fact is, transportation as a whole, no matter if it's a full truckload, LTL, drayage, whatever it is, the transportation industry is kind of looked at as second class or something like that. I don't know why it is that way. Besides for the corporate and Fortune 500 companies, the big ones out there, and I'm talking about asset-based companies, most of them are like in trailers and shacks and like I don't know where. And I don't think that's because of dollars and cents, what they could afford. It's just the way trucking is. It's a dirty business, right? It's it's not blue collar work. And dispatchers can sit on crates and broken desks, and I don't know why it is like that, but I've been in a lot of asset-based drayage companies' offices, and a lot of them are like in trailers, dilapidated place. Now, I'm not saying it's anything wrong, but I think that kind of reflects on the outside as well. You need to be in a normal environment. You need to be, comfortable to an extent where your desk is put together. You have a normal chair. Yeah, your people are taken care of, and they can work like normal people. That reflects on the customers. And they feel like they're working with people. Organization is key, right? Working in an office where the ceiling is falling and lights are flickering all day. I don't know how you could focus that like that. So, we try to put a focus on keeping our people happy internally, communication with customers and with the drivers. And technology obviously is something we put a strong emphasis. Obviously, it's growing faster than people can keep up with all the new AI and in general, like transportation has been so back with technology for such a long time, and I would say over the past 5 years, but especially 2 years, it's gone like rocket ship up. It's like every day there's something else, so it's hard to catch up. But that's been our motto from the beginning: providing the transparency and visibility to our customers as much as we can. for them to see what they have, what's going on. Our general response time on emails is less than 15 minutes. So, we try to keep it quick, unless if it's Scott sending an email. But other than that, it's generally quick.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, I said customers, not vendors.
Yeah. Very different.
I don't blame you. And so building off that a little bit, Nathan, as well. You said connecting with all those people, making sure you're taking care of the customer. But again, some of the posts I've seen of yours on LinkedIn is you directly spending time with employees of yours and the drivers. Asking, giving them maybe I think you guys had a barbecue or a cookout recently, or just a general get together with them. And what with the drivers you probably see the least, like. What do you ask them? How do you make sure they're doing well? And really, where do you find the time? Because you're just learning how to delegate these last couple of years. So maybe that's the time you have, right? So just tell us.
So that is the time, and that is just as important as it is doing a sale. I mean, I always tell the people in the office, if you guys decide to quit tomorrow, or if we need to get rid of you guys, I could dispatch. I've done it. I cannot drive a truck. The fact that I don't have CDL and a container needs to be picked up, I need the driver more than anything. So they have to be treated with respect. They have to be taken care of, because I cannot pick up a container and deliver it to the customer. I can dispatch, I can make appointments, I could do billing, I could do order entry, I could do all that, track and trace, whatever needs to be done. I cannot drive a truck. Matter of fact, I just applied for a CDL, but that's just a whole different thing. But I just feel that if you're I'm serious.
No, I believe you. I love it.
If you're in transportation, I feel you need to feel all of it. So I don't plan on driving a truck all day, but I do want to have that CDL. I want to do it for a week or two, be in the ports, understand what the drivers are going through.
Yeah.
And once I do it myself, I think then you could relay that message internally very differently, right? Because I've done it. You could come in and say, hey, I've done it, so I understand what it is about.
And you get
dealing with the drivers. Yeah. I mean, the only thing is, what happens if a driver gets pissed off at the dispatch? He'll say, well, send Nathan.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny you say that, Nathan. Like, Scott and I both started out at brokerages, right? And I was pretty lucky to end up on the software side, I feel, because it just clicked for me down the line. But I'll say, you hear a lot of people talk on social media. Oh, this is this is that. It's very different when you're in a high velocity warehouse. Sure. Watching folks double load, right? Two fork trucks at a time, and then the turn time, and they're like, done. And then it's on to the next one. Everything's running like this well-oiled machine. And you're like, oh man. So now you kind of understand the trucking side. You have a good grasp of that. You understand the variables that associate with that. But then you get to the warehouse or the facility or the yard, or you see a drop trailer operation in full play. And it kind of all gives you this very different perspective of all the different pieces that have to be just right for this stuff to work. And I think back to your earlier comment, I very rarely have opinions on here. I think one of the reasons people kind of look down on transportation, I don't think people understand. They think, oh, that's just a guy with a truck.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that's just a warehouse worker. But I don't think they realize the orchestration across the entire network. That is, you pick something up for Home Depot, but where did that shipment start and where does it end? And every little bit of thing in between that, it touched bound logistics, and then it touched this, and then it was, maybe you guys have a yard, it's in your yard, and then maybe it's dropped. And then you see where I'm going with this? There's such a large amount of things that happen that I don't think the average American wraps their noggin around.
It's like a whole chain of supplies.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't think it's because they can't wrap their head around it. I just think that it's an unimportant thing. I don't think about all the steps that go through my second, my instant delivery that I'm going to get in 2 days, right? I just click the button.
It just happens, right?
It just happens, right? And you don't know what's going on behind the curtain.
We just became so used to it, and again, you drive down the highways, you see trucks all over. You're like, all right, they're part of society somehow, somewhere,
Yeah.
Who knows who they are? But They're just doing their thing. But
Yeah.
I think it is that way. I mean, because the people on the street, I mean, you stop at a gas station, you see the truck drivers. You know, who are they? Blue collar people. You know, most times overweight, and you're like, all right, these are the people here. You know, you don't see the professionalism in the background.
Yeah.
But the fact is, whoever communicates between the customers and the drivers and all that needs to be a healthy background and a very solid base. Otherwise, you know, there's no things getting anywhere on time.
Yeah. And no, 100%. I drove up to see a customer in Wisconsin recently, and I stopped at a truck stop, and immediately Scott, actually, because of this podcast, I started picking out who drove what truck.
Oh, okay.
And the one that I knew immediately was there was a guy hauling gas, like liquid gas, button-up shirt, slacks, black shoes, walking in, getting things paid.
They always look slick.
They're always so put together, the fuel haulers. And then the next was a couple of guys who were doing bulk dairy. And then the last one is I immediately clocked. The only other one I clocked was the guy driving the dry van. And then everything in between was process of elimination. And I think it's interesting too, because you pull into that gas station at night, especially if it's like a Love's or one of the big brands that's also a truck stop. And, you know, you're like, man, why did I put all that chrome on that? Or, wow, that's really cool. But, you know, you don't really know, except for when you're a kid, right? Maybe you like trucks or dump trucks and forklifts and little excavators and things like that. But yeah, it's really interesting. You know, I think you bring up a good point. You don't really connect it just seeing Joe Schmo driving. You know,
100%. It is that way.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But I feel like building the culture between the drivers is the most important.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones running your business essentially. They're like, you know, if you're running a factory, they're your machine. If you're running a software, they're your brains. I mean, that's them. Without the drivers, no trucking company, no matter what type of transportation you're doing, you wouldn't be nothing. If JB Hunt's drivers go on strike, they could have the biggest corporate people in their office. They're worth nothing if the drivers go on strike, right? That's the business. So
that's why Nathan's getting a CDL.
That's
a fourth strike.
No. I'll be the only one down the turnpike, but who cares?
Yeah,
exactly. No traffic.
Yeah. Nathan, it's interesting you say that. I guess I'll ask you. I see a lot on the freight and the trucking on Trucking X, right? Like Twitter, around there's is there, isn't there a driver shortage, right? You see these things, you know, these articles of there's a driver shortage. We're doing this or we're doing that. And then you see folks in the industry saying, that might not be the case, right? Maybe there's a turnover problem. Maybe there's this, maybe there's that. And I'm wondering how much of that relates to you saying, hey, I want to build a really good culture. I want my drivers to be here for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, right? As opposed to, I wonder if there's an advantage to that. Because
sure. So first of all, you got one more driver, so no driver shortage. Second of all, I think when it comes to the shortage question, just to answer that, I think that's more for the over the road type of trucking, not really related to our type of business.
Really?
It's yeah. I think it's more the fact of the millennial, you know, generations are not really interested in sitting in the trucks for weeks or months, you know, traveling, you know, from east to west, west to east, and living kind of missing family. But on the every night home kind of trucking, I haven't seen any shortage. I mean, companies in the drayage space are only growing. We haven't had, I would say, a tough time finding drivers, maybe qualified drivers, but, you know, overall, I mean, with good records and, you know, safety backgrounds. But in general, there's a time and a dozen, because these guys have a regular life more or so, right? They start early, may finish a little bit late, but they're home every night. They get to see their kids. I mean, most of our drivers, for the most part, I would say 90% are home by 8 o'clock at night. They're home. They do begin early. They're in the yard at like 4 a.m. So, you know, again, people that commute to the city also got to get up early, you know, getting home. So, you know, they maybe, like I said, they maybe get up early, get home a little bit late, but for the most part, they have a regular family. They're home on the weekends. They're home Sundays, holidays, whatever it is. I think the shortage is more so when discussed is on the over-the-road type of trucking.
Over the road.
Or maybe specialty type of transportation.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That's what I find.
No, that's really interesting because I will have to ask more people that question. It's come up so recently, just with the folks I've been around, and I wonder. I wonder if that's like you said, because I'm getting home, right? Like I imagine someone that drives a box truck regionally, right, final mile or something like that. They're probably not as susceptible to the same, stressors that say, like a long haul. That's just
company driver,
company driver, long haul, things of that nature. Or even owner ops.
Yep, exactly.
Right. We only have owner ops right now.
Oh, really?
We don't have any company drivers. Yeah, all owner ops under our DOT. It's just to grow a company. It's it's less cost effective. Owner operator model. You don't have to buy the assets, lease or whatever. But we are shifting into company model now as well. So we want to have like a balance of both. We're in the process with a couple of companies quoting out the cost, but we do want to have that and doing all the work that owner operators don't want to do. The owner operators, they don't technically work for you, right? They're independent contractors, so to say, and they want to do the easier work, right? They don't want to do the work, the warehouse that is kind of narrow or a lot of congestion or traffic. So we've come to the point where we're like, we'll let these guys run out 200 miles, let them do their run, come back, do another run. And then the company drivers will keep, port to yard to port, all these type of things. Yeah. And, these type of runs that these owner apps don't want.
Would that be more on the drayage side or the LTL side of you guys' business?
Drayage, strictly drayage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the LTL we do is only on the brokerage, nothing on the asset.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
The asset side is just drayage that we currently do.
That makes sense. Awesome. Well, hey, I mean, we're getting up towards the end of this here. One of the things I appreciate you clearly you've shared quite a bit about kind of how you guys started and where you are now. And obviously, you're growing, right? Which is great news. I guess if you had to say one thing you wanted people to know about Bound or one thing you'd say to folks that wanted to get into the industry, you can pick any of the above. What would you do? What would you talk about? What would you say to kind of round us out?
For people to get into the industry, I would say just double check what you're getting into and make sure you want to do it. It's, I wouldn't call it the Wild West, but it's a tough one. I mean, especially in the current environment, when you're dealing with, tariffs and all these things, the current administration, I do believe it'll work out in some shape or form. The question is when and how. Obviously, lots of uncertainty at this time. And not knowing what's going to happen. And I think the fact if Donald Trump does not come to some kind of, arrangement over the 4 years, meaning if this becomes like a cycle of up and down, this is going to drag on for years. Or even if something does happen, we all know that this, especially if the Republican movement carries on 28, this might happen again. So I think people are really looking into really how they're going to move forward with all that. So, it's interesting times in the freight as a whole, not necessarily transportation, but with everything going on, I think we're going to see a spike like, COVID times with warehousing space coming up soon, with everyone importing all their goods now before the holiday season, for the holiday season.
Gotcha.
Before the 90-day timeline. We'll see how that pans out, with space and capacity in general. Hopefully this freight recession will come to an end, at least for a little bit, where people could work and actually charge customers for what the service is worth. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous what people are offering these days. I mean, we try to stay in line. We sometimes need to be really competitive, but we also do have to say no a lot. People come and say, hey, we got this lane, 5,000 containers a year. We need you to be at X. I'm like, that's 5,000 reasons not to do it.
It's just 5,000 headaches. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what? What's the point of taking high volume when you lose money or not making money?
Yeah. No, that's a big brokerage's game. That's not
Yeah, that's big brokers. And the funny thing is, they find suckers for all this. That's the crazy part.
I know people agree to it.
Yeah.
I don't know how, honestly. I mean,
but then they fail, and then they go to the spot market, and I don't know.
Yeah, that'll happen. That is what it is. But freight is fun. Transportation is fun. It keeps you on your feet. It's there's always something going on. That's the reason I'm in it. There's no quiet day. There's no such thing. Okay, today is a quiet day. I mean, you walk into a lawyer's office, today is quiet. No cases going on. Insurance office, okay, just submitting 5 applications and that's it. In transportation, there's no, okay, today we're going to keep quiet.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. It is what it is, but it's fun. It keeps you energized. It keeps you awake.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, awesome. It does.
So where can people find you, and what services do you offer to the good people in the logistics world? Other we've talked about Drayage, of course, but give them the gamut. What can you help with?
Absolutely. So I can be found on LinkedIn. That's where I spend half my day walking around that place. So always feel free to shout out and say hi. And as far as services, we offer asset-based transportation, currently servicing the ports in New York, New Jersey. We are working on opening up a terminal in the Southeast, so we hope to have more news on that soon. We're probably going to start Charleston and Savannah at once. We're in the process of getting that lined up, and from there we plan on going to Houston. So by 2027, we hope to be live in all 3. By 26, we hope to be by Charleston and Savannah. So that is on the asset side. And on the brokerage side, we focus mostly on Drayage on the brokerage side. That's what we know. That's what we do. That's the language we speak in the business. So I would say most of our brokerage is Drayage, but we also handle full truckload and LTL, whatever our customers need. It's a smaller part of the business. We started that operation in 2022, so something fairly new. And then we partnered with Revenova, which has been a great asset and great tech added to the brokerage side. So thank you, Scott.
Pleasure is all mine. Appreciate you guys being great stewards.
Absolutely. So that is what we do. We try to be a full transportation service provider for our customers, so they could, know they could rely on one company to manage anything from the port to the final mile, not final mile, to the final warehouse where it needs to go. So, we also partner with a lot of transload facilities. So we do a lot of transloads on the East Coast, West Coast, and the Midwest. Where we sell, we don't have our own assets yet, but we do handle a lot of the transloads for our customers, especially in the East Coast where we do the Drayage. We'll take care of it and, make sure everything gets out. So that's pretty much in the gist, and everything is on the dashboards. Customers could kind of find everything on the fingertips, and that's what we try to do and have fun doing it.
Nice.
Beautiful. So, hey, folks, you heard it from the CEO himself, Nathan Halberstam over at Found. So, to all you folks listening, please be sure to check us out every other Tuesday at What's Domiciled on YouTube and Spotify for the full episodes, and YouTube and Instagram for the reels. So we really appreciate you for tuning in today. Thanks again for your support. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.